up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and we're on the new free-to-play account. Thought I would jump on here and give an update on how things are going. It's been a couple days since we were able to get on here and do a video, so this gave me a good opportunity to kind of catch us up on the new free-to-play account and see how we are doing. We are on day 27. We're closing in on getting a high Katoon here on day 30. And I think we're doing pretty good so far, just based on my overall understanding of the game. I feel like we've been able to push pretty far in. You can see we actually do have 17 ancient shards saved up at this point. I have kind of went into a mode a couple weeks ago where I just said, you know what, I'm pulled enough champs, I'm going to start saving all the shards I get. The only exceptions I have made, I have been pulling some of my void shards here and there since it's off event. I want to try to get those void rares like Reliquary Tender or a Cold Heart. They would be really helpful. And we've got a couple sacred shards which we have went ahead and pulled. I pulled 2 yesterday with the Summon Rush event to try to get some of the rewards for that to help me progress the account a little bit. And we actually did have we had gotten up to 27 ancient shards. So many I had saved up, and I pulled 10 just to kind of get some food since we have been farming 12-3 like our life depends on it. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more here in a second. But we do have the fusion going on. I have basically been ignoring this outside of a couple events. I have been able to get 4 of the rares. I am going to go ahead and fuse Maroka. I know some people don't like her. I actually do kind of like her kit for early game. I think she's going to be someone I can take to like 50 and get some good use out of with her cleanse and her revive on death. For some, you know, if you're trying to push some dungeons a little further than you should be able to at the start, it's nice to have a champion like that. So we're going to go ahead and work on that a little bit. Let's go ahead and go in here and see where we are. I have not been doing much on Faction Wars. Honestly, I ignore Faction Wars quite a bit early game. Outside of doing what I'm able to do, like today you can see we did use all our Barbarian keys. Because quite simply, you're not going to have champions to really push too far in any of these at the early stage of the game. And if you are focusing on building champions for Faction Wars in early game, you're going to fall behind in more of the important areas that you need to be working on progressing. Arena right now, we are in Gold 1. We do kind of bounce between Gold 1 and Silver 4. We can take a look at our log here. We're still running a single defense. Thankfully, we are starting to get farmed here, which is nice. But some days I'll come in here and I'll have like 6 or 7 victories with our solo Stultus here, which is kind of funny. But we managed to kind of flip back and forth. We did just spend some medals in Great Hall. That's why we don't have any at this point. But it's actually gotten kind of hard to farm because a lot of these teams that are in Gold 1, we really simply can't fight against. And when we get dropped back down into Silver, we farm through that so quickly we get back up into Gold 1. So it's kind of put a damper on being able to farm. I'll throw a refresh in here. So you see, like a team like this, we can probably go in and beat this team. But it's getting kind of tough. We're seeing a lot more triple-digit power teams and teams that just come in and wipe us pretty quickly, or they've got an annoying Death Knight or some other legendary champions that are kind of hard to deal with. Like a team like this, 228, so we know they're high resistance. You got a Godseeker, Genzen. Some of these people have gotten pretty lucky on their rolls. Like, you know, you just see a lot of stuff like this where we could probably go in and like take this single Visix, but you don't see as many single defenses as you do up in like Gold 4 and Gold 5, which is kind of funny. Everybody down here in Gold 1 is trying to struggle to get through it and kind of build up their Great Hall, so I guess that's just kind of how it works. Once in a while we'll take a chance, like maybe a team like this, we see if we can't go ahead and win this fight. But look at that, they got a pretty fast Seeker already. Stag Knight, yeah, we're probably going to lose this one unless Stultus can do something with his stun and get some extra turns. But yeah, so this one's going to be a loss. But you see, that's just what you run into this early stage of the game. It's kind of hit or miss. And to be a level 35 account, to have a Seeker and a Stag Knight already, I'm a little jealous. That's pretty cool. Some good pulls there for sure. So that's Arena. Tag team, we kind of just stick around in Bronze 1. I have my defenses set as just kind of some silly defenses everybody should be able to go in and beat at this point. And that way we get beat down during the day. I think for even getting attacked, yeah. So see, we got 4 losses today, but then we can go in and farm these much easier teams just to build up our gold bars. We've already got the 2 rares out of here, and we're going to start working on, actually go ahead and buy our Drexlar shard for today. And that's kind of where we are with that. So if we do want to do the Broadmaw fusion, we've got those 2 rares out of there we can now use. That's kind of what we're doing with Arena. Clan Boss, we'll talk about in a second. Doom Tower, not really focusing too much on it, but we have made it up to 49. I'm currently stuck on that floor. Could have probably had to manual it to get through it. I really hate manualing stuff in this game, so I took it as high as I could on auto, but we've been coming in and putting our keys in onto the Eternal Dragon just to get those better version of lifesteal gear when we can get some nice... We can get some decent 4-star epic pieces right now from there, which are somewhat usable still this early in the game. We go into Clan Boss here, and we're actually doing pretty well. We are on Brutal. We're pretty much 3-keying as of last night. I was able to start 3-keying Brutal. With the team I have here, you can see we did go ahead and bring Chani in. I was using Stalthus. Eventually, we're going to phase Elaine out here as well. Right now, she's just in there because she does have the War Master. And I do have masteries done on Grappler and Chani, Elaine, and then we're finishing up Deacon and Tragi and Minotaur. But I went ahead and did spend some gems. Actually, it's kind of funny. I've gemmed 4 masteries on champions so far, just for Clan Boss. Actually for Elaine and Stalthus, it's been for general use. But Chani and Grappler, I did gem up all their masteries. I found that with the way early game is now, you get a ton of gems. I'm not a super big fan of jumping into the gem mine early. That 500 gem hit really early on doesn't do a whole lot to help your account go forward. But we've already gotten well over 3,000 gems within the first month. So I've said, you know what, I'm really trying to hit Clan Boss hard. We want to try to get up to a 2-key on Brutal as quickly as we can, and having that about a month in is going to be great. We're at 3-key right now. Hopefully once we can get some better gear, that's what we're going to go look at here in a minute, we can start getting those better chests and then eventually make the move to Nightmare, which is kind of interesting to think about already doing Nightmare Clan Boss not even like a full month into the game, and we'll be there. I would think, within a week or two, we can probably start jumping up into there, making that move. Dungeons, we haven't really done a whole lot here. Iron Twins, I maybe come in and do stage 1 to try to get some coins if I'm close to being able to pull one of the stones there. We've just gone to 15 on most of the potion keeps, just 13 on magic so far. I don't have anybody to steal the shield there, so it's a little harder to get higher up. Minnow, we're already down to 15 already. We're already at a decent, 123 is pretty good to be able to farm that this early in the game. Ice Golem, I believe we've stopped on 13 because we haven't had to go any higher, and there's really no reason for us to be an Ice Golem farming right now. Spider, we got to Spider 10, and we've just been farming that to get the accessories there, so that's kind of cool. Dragon's Lair, we're down to 16, but we do most of our farming on 13, mainly because that's the one we can do the fastest and the most consistently, and we can still sometimes get that 6-star gear. And then Fire Knight, we're currently stuck on trying to progress past 13. I need to be able to do that for one of the quests we have, but we don't really have the roster yet to start pushing through there. Sand Devil, I have not gone into at all. But let's go ahead and go in here. We'll check out the champions that we do have on the account right now, so you guys can get an idea. We did go ahead and take Deacon to 6 stars. We got him into some lifesteal gear. We switched him out of the speed gear so we could bring him over to use in the Clan Boss team. Elaine is basically still in the lifesteal gear from the beginning, and we just kind of use her everywhere for farming and for arena. We can farm 12-3 now in about 20 seconds, which is pretty nice for building up food. We've kind of moved past the stage of farming stage 6 and 8 for gear, now that we can get into Dragon a little bit. Got Grappler here. So we actually do have 6-star champions already on the account, and like I said, I have been farming 12-3 quite a bit to go ahead and make that possible, because the cool thing is now early game, with the way they have the clan shop set up and your clan versus clan and all that, you actually do get a ton of XP boosts very early in the game. I think we have like 2 or 3 weeks full of XP boosts, and normally on an early account you'll get like maybe 4 or 5 days and then it runs out and you're back to having like just standard experience boost on the campaign farming. So since we've had that experience boost, it's been a lot easier to go through and just farm food all the time. So we got a couple 5 stars here. We did bring up, we are going to bring Kyria up to 6 at some point to bring her into Clan Boss. I've got to swap her gear into Lifesteal. We got to get Chani some better Lifesteal gear as well. That's kind of the point we are at in the account right now, is just upgrading our gear, hopefully getting some better drops in Dragon when we can get in there. But that's really the one thing that's kind of holding us back at this point, is we got to shift into that gear grind mode. Did pull a Doom Priest on one of our Sacreds. That's pretty cool. I do have a couple Relentless sets too to go ahead and try to put her into, so that's going to be nice coming up. But really not much else going on. We did pull a Gala Long Braids, so we just kind of using 3v3 right now. And we do have a couple of the rares to build, like I said, to go for that Fusion Epic. We did actually progress far enough in Ethel's challenge to get her fully 3-star Awakening, which is kind of nice. So we might actually do something with her. She's actually a pretty good champion. I didn't pick her on this account for a starter, but she's actually a very solid champion, so we could probably get some use out of her somewhere. We do have Mark that we did pull. Kind of half thinking about putting her in Clan Boss team, but I kind of want to focus on the main 5 right now, and then maybe we can do that at some point in the future. And that's really what I've been focusing on with this account, is trying to just stay laser focused on a top group of champions, because one of the things that happens early in the game, especially if you pull a lot of shards, is you'll start running off in 18 different directions trying to level up all these different champions. Like, for example, it's tempting right now to just say, oh, let's drop everything and build up this Doom Priest, or let's drop everything and try to get Rhonda to 6 and make her do something too. You kind of have to avoid that. Or, you know, we got a Mausoleum Mage here. He'd be a good champion to start building up. So that's the thing. It's like you want to pick what you're going to focus on early. Like we already decided on this account, we're going to pick Clan Boss and try to push Clan Boss as far as we can early to start getting those better rewards before we really start grinding out dungeon progression and other things. So that's why we focused on our top 5 or 6 champions here, and we've been able to build them up pretty good. And we're already 3 King Brutal Clan Boss, you know, less than a month into the game. So it's worked out pretty well. And that's kind of where we are right now. Challenges were almost finished. We're on the last part of the gear challenge. We have to do regen and retaliation gear, which we'll have to get into Fire Knight and Ice Golem for that. So that's why we kind of really haven't been progressing that so far yet. And then 75% crit rate and crit damage for this here. Dungeons, we just have to do stage 13. Arena, it's basically gold and then get 2 Great Hall bonuses, or 3 to 5, which that may take a little while. We should be able to do this pretty soon. Champions we're all done with. So, and one of the things with this artifact challenge that we did early on was we made sure we focused this early in the game, because there are some challenges in here where you have to do normal campaign and do like Sewers of Arnok and get the attack % gear. So it's easier to just do that early when you're progressing that point in the campaign. That way you don't have to come back and do it later when you're already doing Brutal and Nightmare, because it can be really annoying. But at this point, if you focus this challenge early on in the first week or 2, you can already get it finished, you know, within a month or so. It's not too bad. And also another tip I'll tell you guys is when you're doing these challenges early on, you're going to get that one. There's a couple of them for doing attack % gear. So what you want to do for that is when you're first going through the campaign at the very beginning, save all the garbage attack % gear that drops from stage 2. And then what you can do is come in on like just a food champion, and you can just equip those bottom 3 pieces, and you don't have to do anything with it. And it's just like, then you don't have to worry about taking that gear back off of one of the champions you're actually using. And then whenever you feed that champion, you just sacrifice the gear. It's really no big deal if you wind up losing any of it. So that's kind of a little quick tip there for you guys. But so far, the account's coming along pretty good. Pretty happy with the progress we've made. We'll jump into the Great Hall here. I'm all over the place with this. So we had to do the 3 ones here just to get that quest done. We tried to go up to 3 in some of these other areas. We're starting to work on accuracy and defense and HP for Clan Boss champions. Got our crit damage on our 2 main damage dealers there. But it's kind of just a work in progress. It's early game Great Hall is kind of fun and kind of hard at the same time. So we'll see what we can do there. Like I said, I do have the 17 Ancients saved up, which is, we have a 2x Ancients coming up next week. Hopefully we'll be able to pull something good there. I think I'm going to be out of town next week though, so I may not be able to do a video when we do that, but we'll keep you guys updated on that. We haven't really had too much luck with Awakening. I'm going to the Soul Merchant here, and we're just not having any luck with it. I think it's funny, like all the content creators who did this got their Rhonda Awakening within like 2 days of getting her, and I've yet to see her pop up in here. We are keeping 20 of these saved in case one of our legendary heroes does pop up here, but I have grabbed a couple of the epics and the rares if they've come up, if they've been part of my Clan Boss team. And we do already have the epic saved up for her whenever we do fuse her to use for some progression. But that's pretty much how it's going so far. Pretty good. We actually have not unlocked the full market yet because I don't want to spend the 120 gems. I'm waiting until like an ancient shard pops in there to do that. So we're just trying to save the gems. Like I said, I just found a lot more value early on in putting those gems into getting the masteries done. You can see here we've got Elaine. We've got Grappler done already. We've got Stalthus. So we got our 2 main progression damage dealers. Having a force damage dealer this early in the game is pretty nice. We're getting Taragi down there. Need to finish him out. Once we get those additional War Masters done on him, that should really help us. We get the War Master on Deacon, get the War Master on Taragi. That should really help us to progress that damage and get closer to that 2 key for Brutal. And we got quite a bit to work on here still, which, you know, it's kind of the nice thing when you're in the early game is being able to do all the grinding and feeling like you do have that sense of progression that you may not experience anymore on your main account. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this quick video. Just wanted to jump in here and kind of show off the free-to-play account, how we were doing through on day 27. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I'll get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.